have nothing to do with me nor Kurt. Them bitches was coming at you about your because they had too much ammo for you.
Don't act like you didn't say that.
I wasn't there. Now, damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they on some hat.
The tension in the room was palpable. Even though the crew was there, the lights were bright, and the cameras were rolling. What should have been a regular taping of the well-known reality program was actually a storm developing underneath the surface. Yandy and Rasheeda, on the other hand, felt as though everything else faded into the background, leaving them alone in a long-brewing conflict. Although Yandy had always been a resilient lady, the strain of them. She had been at the heart of their drama all along, but it had never been this intense or personal. And now that everything was in the public front, it felt like everything was breaking apart, challenging her composure. Rasheeda had been Yun's confidant and companion for years, but their relationship with MDC had never been straightforward. The unquestionable connection between Rasheeda and M, a shared history that had simmered beneath the surface all the time, but things began to change when many say became connected with Yandy. Rasheeda made an effort to be encouraging at first, but she soon started to question M's commitment and the choices he was making. Yandy could feel the heat rising in her chest as Rasheeda's words pierced the air with a sharp and biting edge. Now that the cameras were capturing every second, it wasn't simply the usual teasing war. Their friendship had been marked by playful banter, and it was sincere. Rasheeda's disdain for Minnie's choices had grown over time, and she wasn't holding back anymore. Rather, every look and comment seemed to be aimed at Yandy, as if her connection with Minnie was in some way a personal betrayal. Yandy, will you really sit here and protect him? You're still going to act like he's your king in shining armor after everything he's done? Rasheeda asked incredulously, despite Yun's fury seething. She realized that this was not the moment to control her emotions, but she forced herself to do so. As if Rasheeda were questioning her judgment, her choices, and everything that had led her to this moment. It seemed like an assault on her. What is the reason behind your constant commentary on several topics? Rasheeda had always been willing to criticize M and hold him responsible for their problems. Sejun's words were sound, but her voice trembled with the anguish and frustration she had been holding inside. I'm the one who must deal with his mistakes, baggage, and past. Don't sit here and attempt to act like you know what's best for me. This connection has lasted far too long. Spilled out, Yandy shouted. Yandy wasn't finished yet. She had reached her breaking point, and Rasheeda rolled her eyes and chuckled. Given that her life was on the line, this was not the time to back down. Your thoughts have always been there, but you've been watching from the sidelines and criticizing both him and me. Has never been where we are, Yandy replied, her voice growing louder with each word. You don't know what we've been through, what I've had to forgive, and yet here you are acting like you have all the answers. The tension between the two women was intense. Rasheeda's presence in M's life had fueled a deeper rivalry and unspoken jealousy that had been boiling for years in an environment laden with verbal hostility and unresolved issues. I was no longer the only one involved. Always tainted Yandy's relationship with him. For a moment, the words struck Yandy like a slap in the face. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed in anger as she shot back. You think you're the only one who's had to deal with this mess? You think I don't know what it's like to be in a relationship with someone who's always making mistakes? And he's hurt both of us, and I'm tired of seeing you pretend like he's changed. You're letting him drag you down, Yandy. Because the world was watching and the cameras were on them, she refused to give anyone the satisfaction of seeing her break within, even though she wanted to lash out and scream at Rasheeda for all the pain she had caused. Rather, everything appeared to be falling apart. M's mistake, Rasheeda's constant interference, and the chaos that had always surrounded them made it feel like the dam was about to burst today, even though you had worked so hard to hold things together. Their voices grew increasingly hostile as they began to argue. The crew waited in the background as the allegations were made, not knowing how to intervene since they knew that they were witnessing a partnership breakdown, a long-running battle for dominance and respect, and that there was ultimately no obvious solution to end the issue. Yandy ran off, tired and furious Rashid's anger boiled beneath the surface as the cameras continued to capture the fallout. But for Yandy, the real fight had only just begun. It wasn't only about M's or Rasheeda's. It was also about determining whether she could trust anyone again, including herself, and how to handle the disaster that had become her life. Yandy's struggle to keep her family together seems to have been lost, and there are whispers that Nice is sick of calling her his wife and has made it back to his true love, Erica. In all honesty, this problem is getting rather unpleasant, and some people are even saying that they might have been married. The only thing that has kept Yandy in this marriage is her pride, and now that Minnie has moved in with Erica, it seems that she has lost all self-control. Yandy is advising Erica to leave her partner, or it will be obvious when they meet, in addition to pointing the finger at me for offending her. Take a seat and let me explain this tea if you haven't heard of it yet. Mendy C served time in prison for drug-related offenses and was released earlier this year. With Minnie's help, Yandy handled everything by herself while he was in prison, doing everything she could to keep the family strong and together. We all thought Yandy would be able to enjoy her marriage at last, after all the sacrifices and hard work she had put in while he was incarcerated. Marriage effort, including going to therapy to work out their issues. But as they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Instead of repaying Yandy for keeping the family together, Mrs. decided to move on to Yandy's most ferocious rival, Erica, in case you missed it. If you follow the relationship, you'll see that Minnie's unwillingness to establish limits with Erica is the clear cause of Yandy and Erica's years-long conflict. Minnie Yandy's triangle has long been in denial about the situation of her marriage. Her vanity and conceit lead her to believe she is the only woman in Ming's life, even though she is aware that he hasn't been entirely honest with her and is still seeing Erica. We all know that things aren't as they seem, but she's very good at pretending that everything is open. Long before Yandy joined the scene, Erica was with M. Show that I genuinely care about his first baby mama, Erica. Minnie's required a loving and dependable companion when things weren't going well. One of the few people he really loved, according to Samantha, was Erica. According to Erica, she and MSCs had lived together in the past, traveled together, had identical passports, and even had the opportunity to meet his whole family. When Samantha wasn't there, she helped take care of his first child because she was so committed to him. A sensible plan for the future. Minnie's kept in touch with Erica even after he married Yandy. Rumor has it that he moved out of their house and broke up with Yandy in order to start a new relationship with Erica, now that he is free from prison and financially secure. Since Yandy held him down, solved all of his issues, and became involved in a baby mama drama, I don't think she deserves the abuse she's getting from Mindy Say. Without hesitation, he told her that he was in the marriage for duty and not love. He even admitted that he never would have stood by her side or kept the family together the way she did for him if their roles had been reversed. She put a lot of effort into raising MC's kids while putting up with his mother's rudeness.
Had nothing to do with me nor her. Them bitches was coming at you about your because they had too much ammo for you.
Don't act like you didn't say
I wasn't there. Like, damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they on some half.
Interview 8/4/8/15. Mendy went to his mother, Judy, because he felt that something needed to be done. Judy unrepentantly justified her actions by saying that she had been provoked. Though he understood his decision and had to put his family's safety and stability before allowing her to stay in his care, Mendy was certain that Judy had gone too far and told her, "I love you, but I can't let this continue." He asked Judy to leave, stressing that respect was non-negotiable. Judy, furious, believed the transfer would serve as a wake-up call, despite the fact that she felt deceived. When Judy went, she had to adjust her methods, which caused emotional pain for the family. Yandy spoke to her close friends about the altercation and voiced her unhappiness with the ongoing animosity toward Judy for the mess she shared, while Mendy displayed considerable guilt despite maintaining his position. "I've always made an effort to sort things out, but I can't put up with this disrespect in my own house anymore." Despite his affection for his mother, He confided in a close friend that he couldn't allow her to harm the person he had decided to live out the rest of his days with. He began to wonder if there was any other way he might have handled the matter. But because Judy felt cut off from her kid and thought Yandy was just playing a game, she went to her own support network to let out her frustration and rage. "I raised him, how can he choose me over him?" She wailed as she disclosed Yandy and Judy's. This dramatic event has further complicated the Harris family's ongoing saga by emphasizing how difficult it can be to strike a balance in a blended family between love, loyalty, and respect. The final cast of Love Hip Hop was also impacted by the turmoil. In addition to their personal relatives, other Atlanta cast members offered their opinions, with some recognizing Judy's viewpoint as a mother who feels excluded and others endorsing Yandy. Fans were curious to see if Judy and Yandy would get back together or drift apart over the course of the season. Because of the ongoing problems that seemed to afflict the household, some were doubtful, while others hoped to see moments of recovery. Without a doubt, the drama in this house is far from ended, and many people believe that Yandy and Judy's future will not be simple because of the persistent issues. They traverse the challenging landscape of love, devotion, and familial responsibilities for years. MC Harris and Yandy Smith are the epitome of a strong, cohesive couple on Love and Hip Hop New York. The two remain committed to one another as they navigated the muddy seas of fame, family, and scrutiny, earning accolades for their love in spite of a lot of challenges, including MC's legal troubles and a lengthy jail sentence. But as is often the case in the entertainment sector, despite the fact that appearances can be deceiving, their seemingly ideal relationship had flaws that appeared to have grown into a chasm following M's disclosure. When M's made enigmatic messages on social media suggesting that everything was amiss in his marriage, it was the first sign that something was amiss. Although fans speculated about the significance of his posts, nobody could have foreseen the impending storm. Everyone was shocked by a video that Mendy Say released a few days later. Mendy says allegedly, Yandy and Carlos King, a producer well known for his work on hit reality TV series, have a tight working relationship, but MC asserts that their bond extends much beyond their work. MC presented copies of emails and texts he said were between Yandy and Carlos, demonstrating how serious his claims were. He asserted that these texts, which included expressions like, "I can't stop thinking about you and our relationship," demonstrated a degree of personal intimacy that goes beyond professional bounds. Imagination is limited when spending time together, which stokes the fire. Furthermore, M showed other images he said were taken during private meetings between Yandy and Carlos, but some argued the images might be of innocent guys. C's perception painted a distinct picture. In response to these accusations, Yandy denied any wrongdoing and expressed her sadness about DC's choice to disclose their private issues in a live-streamed video. Although she vehemently denied that she and Carlos King had a romantic friendship, she did openly admit that they were close. Carlos has been a mentor and friend. Despite her denials, Yandy said that taking our professional relationship and making it into something it isn't is unpleasant and unfair. As Yandy's tone suggested, "I've always stood with MDs through everything, so to be accused in this way feels like a breach of the trust we've built as the claims gain traction." Carlos King broke his silence and denied having an inappropriate relationship with Yandy in a well-written statement. "My relationship with Yandy has always been professional," he stated. Carlos claims that these charges are baseless and without merit. Carlos expressed his disappointment at being dragged into a marital dispute, adding, "I've worked with Yandy for years, and I've always respected her as a professional and a friend. I hope that many C's and Yandy can resolve this privately." The consequences of these charges have extended in addition to MDC and Yandy's relationship. Their children, who have been featured on Love and Hip Hop on multiple occasions, are currently the subject of a media frenzy. While some friends and relatives have encouraged the couple to get help, others have suggested that they do so. Supporters of the pair are divided. Some argue that Yandy should be given the benefit of the doubt, because of her past support of many says during his legal battle, while others think MC's claims based on the information he provided. Issues relationships under investigation often have underlying issues, even though the specifics of this situation are unique. Fame, distance, and public attention can exacerbate existing problems and create new ones for MCs and Yandy. Their current predicament has undoubtedly been exacerbated by reality TV, and social media's influence cannot be ignored when taking their worries into account. Through public forums, millions of people have been asked to remark on a highly personal matter, but this has, in addition to raising questions about the boundaries of privacy in the age of digital openness, the drama has gotten more intense. It is currently unknown what the future of M and Yandy's relationship will bring. Although they both claim that family should come first, reconciliation will be challenging. It is difficult to rebuild trust after it has been damaged, and supporters' difficulties are made much more complicated by the fact that they are publicly known. It is anticipated that Yandy will find a way to move on, and that many will notice this, whether that entails providing a safe home for their children while navigating the impact from these revelations will likely take precedence, regardless of whether the couple decides to stay together or split ways amicably. It looked like a normal family dinner at first, but the fabled evening quickly turned tense. With a mix of frustration and anger, Mendy C's son broke the silence and dropped the news. Everyone in the room remained silent as they tried to understand Yandy's statement that you are to blame for Yandy cheating on you. Everyone's attention was focused on Mendy C and Yandy as the accusation hung heavy in the air, and they immediately refuted it. "Where is this even coming from?" she asked, her voice trembling with anger and hurt, demanding to remain calm, but the son continued to accuse her of betraying the family and blame me for not being a strong enough husband or father. I tried to defuse the situation, but it persisted because I was so taken aback by his son's outrageous comments. His tone was calm but strained, and he tried to control the son by raising his voice and demanding proof for the absurd accusation, stating, "If you're going to accuse Yandy of something this serious, you better have proof." The conversation swiftly became heated as he cried, "You've always been so caught up in your own issues that you couldn't even see what's been happening right under your nose. Love this family. You've been tearing it apart, and he's too blind to see it," she said, infuriating the son, and the fight got so heated that Mendy felt his authority as the head of the household was being challenged. Yandy was unable to control her emotions and burst into tears as anger and resentment were retaliated with emotional jabs and vague hints. Others glanced aside as Yandy gasped, and the boy, holding his face, looked at his father in disbelief at the gravity of what had just happened. The room fell silent as he physically hit his son in a moment of unrestrained wrath. "I can't believe it's come to this," Mendy said in a voice full of regret, trying to control his feelings. Yandy, still in tears, comforted him as she fought her own pain. The son, obviously hurt, packed his things and asked to leave, but son, far from a remorseful young man, refused to back down and said, "I love you, but I can't let this kind of disrespect continue in my home." His voice was firm but sorrowful, and he decided to ask his son to leave, saying, "You need time to think about what you've done. Maybe some space will help you understand." Without saying anything further, they left. In the days following the incident, there was a great deal of worry and quiet. Despite Yandy's support for M's decision, she was unable to conceal her pain, telling a friend, "I feel like I've lost a part of my family, and I don't know if we can ever heal from this." DC also battled his emotions, asking aloud, "Did I do the right thing?" and turning to his closest confidants for solace. "Having to protect my wife and my home makes me feel like a bad husband and father." The father's regret was overpowering as word spread among Love and hip-hop fans about the family turmoil, and he understood that repairing his relationship with his kid would be challenging. Social media was flooded with reactions from Atlantans eager to express their thoughts, ranging from support for MC's son to sadness for him. While some criticized him for employing physical force, stating that striking your son is unacceptable, Another fan said that he had to do what he had to do to maintain his wife's respect. The Harris family's struggles to manage their private suffering in the public eye were made worse by the conflict, but Mendy remained committed to repairing his broken family. "I must not allow this to be the case." Regardless of the situation, read another comment. Some viewers questioned Yandy's involvement in the family dynamics as a result of the incident. Yandy has always kept the family together, but this might be too much for her. As the season progresses, many notes that Yandy's unwavering support and mediation efforts have become a ray of hope for the family. Yandy told a friend that following his son's absence, he reached out through mutual connections to have an honest conversation. "We need to talk face to face and figure out how to move forward," he said. "You both love each other. You just need to find a way to communicate without all the anger," she urged. The Harris family's journey is far from over, and Mace asks Yandy why she's making this decision. The dramatic confrontation and its aftermath serve as a powerful reminder of the complexities of family relationships, and the story continues to captivate audiences by offering a raw and unfiltered look at the challenges and victories of navigating love and loyalty in a blended family. Despite her claims of faithfulness and commitment, Yandy won't let him spoil her bag if her business succeeds or if Mace becomes an even bigger burden for them both at the Grammy Awards and on their show Love Hip Hop. Ultimately, Yandy retreats, acting like a lost puppy who is constantly straying, and she begins to realize that she doesn't need Mace for anything. The fact that she never filed the necessary paperwork for their marriage only serves to highlight her persistent cunning. Some people say children you didn't push or spit out will always end up like this. Yandy nurtured this adorable child by herself when his father was in jail, and this is what she gets in return. "You're playing too much with this child who isn't biologically yours," Mace makes clear. When the cameras stop rolling, Yandy stops acting like the devoted wife. Some remark, "I hope you found this video entertaining, and I hope to see you in the future one," as a covert way of saying they don't like you.